and welcome to another edition of 7 Questions With, brought to you by Jersey Mike's, always a sub above. As we continue to chat with first-year Shore Conference head football coaches today, we're delighted to be joined by Jeff Papcun, the new head football coach at St. John Vianney. Interestingly enough, back in the winter, I think it was February, I got a press release from the school, and it announced that Mike Albercu, who was the head coach for the past 2 seasons, was stepping down to focus on his job as athletic director. And at the same time, Jeff Papcun was being elevated from most recently defensive coordinator to head coach. So he's a guy that's got a long career as an assistant coach for a relatively young guy. He's been at quite a few stops along the way. And last year, as I said, was the DC at St. John Vianney. Before that was the offensive coordinator. So he has certainly been an assistant and delighted to take over a Lancers program coming off a 4-7 season. First of all, Jeff, thank you very much for your time. When the school issued that press release on the day you were elevated to position, you were quoted as saying, "I always knew I wanted to be a head coach. It has been my dream since I was 7 years old and played Keyport Pop Warner." Was St. John Vianney the place you thought this dream would come true?
Because I'm a Rocket through and through at heart, no, not at all. I was brought up not liking St. John's and Matawan, so being a head coach at St. John's is kind of funny, especially because my first real coaching gig was at St. John's back in 2011 under Andy Karlstrom as well. So, yeah, my dream at first was obviously to be a Rocket head coach, but you know what? This is my family now, and I bleed black and yellow.
And of course, you mentioned that because Raritan is your alma mater. You were a senior captain on the team in 2004 that went 12-0 and won the first state title in school history. After that, you went on to play at Montclair State, and then, of course, began your coaching carousel in what is clearly somewhat of a unique situation. Your former head coach, and I mentioned Mike, is going to be on your staff, coaching quarterbacks and defensive backs. Now, certainly it gives you someone who's familiar with the program to lean on, but how did that come about?
So actually, one of our quarterbacks coaches and defensive backs coaches, Coach Ron Waltz, he was actually my freshman head coach when I played at Raritan. And then when I was just going around looking for coaches and stuff, I actually went back to Coach Mike because he's a mentor to me, and I said, "Are you still interested in being on staff and still being a part of it?" Because I know he has that love for the game. He's been around it through and through for who knows how many years. I won't say how many years because he might yell at me. So, of course, right away, he nodded his head yes, and he's doing a great job with the quarterbacks with Coach Waltz and helping out on the defensive side as well. So it's nice having him because whenever I might get in a bind as a young head coach, I can't really say a young coach anymore, but as a young head coach, I can always go back to him and ask him questions, and I feel comfortable going to him for a lot of things. So,
plus, it's always nice having the athletic director on your side, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he's a football guy. He's a sports guy, though. So the good thing about this is, like, a couple of times last year as the athletic director, he had to go help soccer. He had to go help, say, the freshman program and go do his other due diligence for the school. But he still wanted to be around the program and still wanted to be a part of it. So it's nice to still have him on staff and helping us out.
You mentioned him being a mentor. You have had the opportunity to play for and coach with many really outstanding coaches. What have you taken from them? And is there one characteristic they all share?
Yeah, they're just everyone that I've coached with or played for, it's all about, they always taught me about that culture, always taught me about being a leader. From when I was 7 years old with Coach Vecchio to when I was playing basketball at Holy Family under Coach Darren Alt. And then even into high school and into college under both Coach G and Coach G at Montclair State. And so a lot of the guys I coached for and coached with, they're just born leaders. And something I always wanted to be growing up, like you said, was a coach. And I wanted to make sure that I've coached under many different coaches, so I learned the good and the bad. And it's funny, too, because I'm at practice and someone will say, "Oh, that sounded like Coach Portello," or "That sounded like Coach Ahern." "Oh, you were just ski right there." And I'm like, well, that's good. That means I learned from them, and what I learned from them, I'm now bringing to you guys. So, but at the end of the day, those are 3 different personalities. But at the end of the day, they always came back and they loved their kids, and they were always there for their kids. And that's what I'm about to. I'm trying to change that.
Leading up to this opportunity, Jeff has coached at Keensburg, Colts Neck, Red Bank Catholic, and of course, his alma mater, Raritan. We are not far removed from an era in which Vianney was among the best programs in New Jersey. I think there was a 4-year period, 2014 to 2017, 41-4. I don't know if you have an opinion on what has happened, but what is your goal for this program? Is it realistic to think you can get them back to that or somewhat close to that?
Yeah, our goal is just that winning culture that we had back when I was here back in 16 and 17 under Coach Ninsky and under Coach Chip Catelli when he was here for that little stint with Anthony Brown. So we're trying to teach them that winning culture and how to keep fighting. The one thing I always learned when I was at Raritan, and the kids are still like that over there. If you get punched, punch back harder. So that's just something I'm trying to bring that mentality back to St. John Vianney that we had back when Johnny Buchanan, Anthony Brown, and Chris Chuckanowicki played for us.
You know, I thought it was interesting on a preseason form that we sent to you. When asked about your team weakness, you wrote, believing in ourselves that we can play with the best. Is that something that you need to win a little bit and build that culture?
I don't think that we need to win it. I think we're going to try to show that come August 27th when we're playing against one of the best teams in the state and in the shore.
Yeah, well, let me sneak right into that. You did not exactly crawl into this season, your first season. You are opening by playing Red Bank Catholic, believe it or not, next Saturday at the Battle of the Beach in Ocean City. So was that your idea to play this game, or had Mike already scheduled that?
No, so Coach Lang actually reached out to me that the team dropped out. We were supposed to play them week 7. And I didn't even hesitate. Once he said that, I said, yes, let me reach out to my athletic director, but we're in. Because why wouldn't you want to play at the biggest stage? If it's there, if you're playing at the Battle of, what is it called, at the Bay or the Raritan, whatever it is, at Rutgers. Just playing at those big stages from what I remember when the Johnny Buchanan team's playing Rumson in an overtime game at Rutgers, like, you don't forget about that stuff. Listen, I'll still talk about the day that I played at Rutgers and I had my 2 touchdowns in a state final game. Those are things they'll never forget. And these are things that these kids will never forget. And they'll have those memories that will live on for them if they're coaching, if they're playing in college, or just when they get to talk to their kids about it.
Have you given any thought in what it will be like for you? I asked one of the other first coaches, players always have butterflies for the first game. And I'm sure coaches do, but we'll get you back. Will you have extra butterflies and when you run onto that field in Ocean City next weekend?
Yeah, those butterflies. Listen, I've been getting butterflies and that in my stomach. I was 7, like we were talking about, but those butterflies that you feel, that means that you're ready for it. And I know we'll be ready for it. Yesterday, we went up against a great team of Union and a great team of Eastern, and I had those butterflies then in just a scrimmage. I know this Saturday when we go up against Old Bridge, at Old Bridge in our game scrimmage, I'll have them too. I get them at practice, so that it just means that you're ready and you're ready to work. So I know I'll have them then. So, hey, listen, I can remember my first game, actually, my athletic director right now. That's why this is happening. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
But yeah, I remember my first game actually at Raritan versus Point Beach. I'm sitting next to Mike Fabosi, who was our star back, and I'm like, I can't do this. I was a sophomore receiver. I was like, I can't do this. And I remember Andrew Mandeville too, throwing up in the locker room. But that's good though. You want that because that means that you're there and you're ready for that excitement. And once that adrenaline kicks in, you'll be fine after that first hit. So that's what I expect from me after the first kickoff, and then these kids too after the first kickoff down there.
All right, I'll only ask you one more thing because so you don't have to be frustrated with your phone. And I do appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. You are a married father of 3. I always like to do one of these. Your kids are 8, 4, and 1. So I want to know when the opportunity became to be a head coach, which obviously takes more time than being an assistant. So this is somewhat comical.
I have my wife calling me. I have Mike calling me. It's ridiculous. So I'm trying to
all right, listen, I'm going to let you answer the last question. Did you go to your wife first to ask her permission to be a head football coach, which takes more time?
I actually went to my 8-year-old son first because he breeds, when I mean breeds football. He's out there he's dragging me off the couch every day to do routes and work on his footwork and stuff like that. So I actually went up to him and go, "Hey, what's your thoughts about me being a head coach?" And he's like, "Do it, do it, do it." And he actually thought it was for Rutgers. That's what he said to me. He's like, "Wait, for Rutgers?" I was like, "No, not for St. John's." So then obviously I talked to my wife about it, and she was very supportive, and she knew this has been my dream for such a long time. And she was so happy for me and very excited for the season. And she can't wait to watch us this year and see how well we do.
Despite the disconnections, despite the fact that you're now upside down, it has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure. There you go. It has been fun chatting with you. And all kidding aside, I'm happy your dream came true. Good luck, best of everything. And I know you'll have your team ready for next Saturday. That's for sure.
We're ready for it. This kid's been excited since we first found out about it. So we're excited to see RBC down there and be on the big stage.
Jeff Papcun on the big stage here on the Shore Sports Network. Again, brought to you by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. Thanks for watching. Keep it right here throughout the football season. The Shore Sports Network, your #1 choice for high school football.